Hello there and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle something super useful for everyday life: how to talk about food and shopping correctly in English. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so picture this. You're in a supermarket, right? You want to buy some rice, some bread, maybe a few apples. But how do you actually ask for the right amount? It can be a little tricky. Well, don't worry, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to say.
First things first, we're going to listen to a quick conversation. It's between two people getting ready for a shopping trip. Now, listen really carefully to the words they use for different foods, okay? These are going to be our clues. So the first person kicks things off with, "I want to buy some snacks. Do we have any apples at home?"
And the other person replies, "Yes, we have a few apples, but we don't have much bread left." Then we hear, "Okay, I also need to buy a bottle of water."
And the reply, "Good idea. We don't have any water in the fridge." And they wrap it up with, "Right, and we need some rice too. There isn't much rice in the kitchen."
All right, so did you catch those clues? Did you notice how words like apples and bread were treated a bit differently? Well, that's because they're two different types of nouns. So let's put on our detective hats and figure this out.
Okay, this breaks it all down. On the left, we've got countable nouns. These are just what they sound like, things you can count. 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples. And here's the big clue. They usually end in S when there's more than one. But on the right, we have uncountable nouns. These are things we see as a whole, like a liquid or a concept. We don't say 1 bread, 2 breads, right? We just say bread. And notice, no S on the end.
Now, here's why this is so important. Because these nouns are different, we have to use different words with them, especially when we're talking about quantity. Getting this right is a huge step to sounding more natural when you're out shopping. Let's see which words go with which noun.
So for our countable nouns, the ones we can actually count, it's pretty simple. You can use numbers like 2 apples. You can use a or an, like a bag. To ask about a big quantity, you use many, as in, do you have many apples? And if there's just a small number, you say a few, just like we heard in the conversation. We have a few apples. Now, what about those uncountable nouns like water or rice? Well, we can't use numbers with them directly. Instead, we reach for words like some. I have some money. For negatives or questions, we often use much, like we don't have much time. And for a small amount, you'd say a little, like asking for a little sugar.
Okay, let's zoom in on a really, really important rule: the some versus any rule. It's actually pretty easy once you see it. You use some in positive sentences when you're saying, yes, you have something or you need something. Remember, we need some rice. But you use any for both questions and for negative sentences, just like in our dialogue. Do we have any apples? That's a question. And we don't have any water. That's a negative. Honestly, this is a golden rule for shopping and daily conversation.
So, we know we can't say 2 waters. But what if you need to be specific? What if you really need to count these things? Well, guess what? There's a super simple trick that everyone uses. Let's check it out.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. You're at a cafe with a friend and you both want water. You can't just say, "Can I have 2 waters?" So what do you say? Let's find out the answer.
And here it is. The secret is to use containers. It's so clever. Instead of trying to count the water itself, you just count the container. So water becomes a bottle of water. Rice becomes a bag of rice. Bread becomes a slice of bread. And now you can count them perfectly. 2 bottles of water, please. See? Problem solved.
Okay, time for a quick recap. We've talked about the 2 kinds of nouns, the special words we use for them, and that awesome trick for counting the uncountable. So let's put it all together and get you ready to practice.
Here it is, your personal grammar toolkit for shopping. Just remember these key points. Countable nouns, you can count them, like apples. Uncountable nouns, you measure them, like rice. Use some when you're being positive. Use any for questions and negatives. And if you get stuck, just use a container word like bottle, bag, or slice. You got this. And to finish up, here's a little challenge for you. Let's say you walk into a shop. You need 1 liter of milk, some cheese, and 4 oranges. Using everything we just learned, what would you say? Give it some thought. This is exactly how you take what you learn and use it in the real world. Now you're ready. Happy shopping!